Hi, Gretchen. How are you?
Hi, good.
What brings you in today?
Yeah, so I'm just wanting to share a little bit about just my work, and I'm about to hit transition time. And so I thought that might be something that I just wanted to kind of reflect on and share a little bit about. Mhm.
Okay, tell me more.
So yeah, so I currently work at a school. I'm a paraprofessional. I used to be a teacher and I left teaching like 7 years ago and did some office management. I left teaching due to some pretty significant burnout. And um, when I started pursuing graduate school, I decided I wanted to get back into teaching, but not as a classroom teacher just because of the workload. And I thought, you know what, I'll just go back into the classroom as a paraprofessional. I'll have like a healthy work-life balance and it will give me an opportunity to be with kids again and then also pursue my studies. And the year is now coming to an end. Like I've
Mm.
done this new job and our last day is on Friday. So I went through a big transition of leaving my old job. I moved to a new town. I have a new housemate. I'm unmarried and single and I started this new job. And it is very bittersweet. I woke up this morning with loads of anxiety because I know it's the last week. I'm holding on one hand like, oh, this has been so I just I feel that I've learned so much this year. It's a special school. It's a public school, but it is for students with really severe cognitive impairments and physical
Mm.
disabilities. And so the intensity and the demand of it is just it was far more than I ever imagined it would be. So I have felt so out of my comfort zone. And I, uh, and then the teacher I work with in the classroom, there's been so many adults in our room this year. We've gone through so many changes. And they, they haven't particularly at times, like, I think liked working with me, and that has felt very hard. And I got my review back, and it was, generally speaking, really good. But the thing that really needed improvement was um, like kind of following what the teacher's directions are. And I just felt like I kind of racked my brain, like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize like what's going on? What am I missing here? And I had to take some time to really reflect on it. And so I think there's just like just some I've had to sit with a little bit of like honestly some like feelings of shame, embarrassment, um like I wish it had gone better, and at the same time I've also loved, like, there's been so much good, like I've
Mm.
loved so much of it. um so Friday's my last day, and I think there's just a desire to like finish this week really well and be present. And like I really care about the teacher I work with. Like we're friends. And it just felt it I think it felt hard to get that on my review. Um, but also trying to not let it kind of like, I don't know, have more power than it needs. Um, so just holding a lot of different feelings, I think, this week.
So, how can I pat myself on the back for something I said or something I learned about the client? Well, I feel that I can pat myself on the back that I gave a warmth opening and that the client was able to right away share what was on her mind. Something that I learned about the client is that this year she has gone through some transition, specifically on changing her career from, now as a paraeducator, being in the classroom, being on the other side, helping the teacher, and her feeling um, several different feelings, anxious that the year's ending, as well as just guilty and feeling not well about her review that she got from her teacher feedback. And so just going through a range of emotions. What has the client expressed verbally about emotions? Well, she has expressed feeling anxious. She has expressed feeling guilty. She has expressed feeling just a lot on her mind with all these changes that are occurring. Um, what has the client indicated non-verbally? Well, when she started talking about the review, her facial expressions change. Um, her her mouth, for example, dropped a little bit, and her face started tilting, sort of like expressing worry or concern or that it's bothering her. Um, and how would I feel if I had experienced the same situation as the client described to me? I believe I would feel anxious as well, and I would feel conflicted as well, because I would place myself in her shoes. She was once a teacher, and now she's on the other side, and I could imagine and feel her sense of the feeling that she has about it. Like being a teacher, you can feel like, oh, I should have done better or said better. So I could relate to the emotion that she was feeling. How can I combine the emotion that I identified in the above questions with the content that I heard as I listen to the client in order to make a response that clarifies what I understand? I will say the response to myself once before I say it. Gretchen, you feel anxious. Yes, that's part of it, but you also seemed worried because for several reasons, because the year is ending and also how it ended. So I think I'm going to stick with you feel worried and anxious because one, the year is ending, but especially how it ended with your review. So Gretchen, you feel anxious and you also feel um, guilty and worried about your review, and especially because the year is ending. Is this correct?
Yes, and as you're saying it, I think that it actually is helping me identify kind of a layer beneath that. Like there has been like anxiety has dominated a lot of energy in this school year for various reasons, and now coming up to this ending. And so I think like underneath that is like a deeper sense of disappointment. I think in I think a bit in myself and in like somewhat of the experience. That's like what pops up for me as I hear you reflect it back, that underneath it there's just a deeper sense of disappointment. Mhm.
Tell me more about that disappointment.
Um, well, I think the classroom is a place that I love, and I was like, I felt kind of like almost like there was like this idealized, like, oh, I'm going back into the classroom. I'm gonna get to work with kids again. And there have been so many parts that have felt like that. And I think there's just something about I don't know. Maybe the desire for my interactions with the teacher I work for. I think that like it's just a desire for friendship with them and to feel good in the classroom. Um, and just that a lot of those things kind of, oh, they fell away a bit. And I think there's just some sadness and disappointment there around it. Yeah.
Okay. So how can I pat myself on the back for something I actually said or something I learned from the client? I think I can pat myself on the back because I cued in um, that what the client was feeling and invited that feeling in the session. And what I learned from the client is how deeply she loves her job and how deeply it's impacting her life and how truly she cares about the situation she is in and how it wasn't what she expected when she came in to this job. How am I feeling right now? I'm feeling compassion and I am feeling what the client is feeling. I can feel that I'm there with her and I can feel the pain. What would I feel if I experienced the same situation the client described to me? I feel I would would relate to it because of trying to wanting to be successful in a place where you know that you love and you have a special talent for it or special place for it and feeling that you weren't adequate. I can sense that and I can understand that. Um, how can I um, combine the emotions that I identify about with the question, with the content I heard in order to respond? So I'm going to respond a lot first. You feel disappointed because mm, you you felt like you didn't perform or met the expectation you had for yourself on the job. Let me think about this again. You feel disappointed because you feel you failed yourself because you thought you could have done a better job. Hmm, okay. Um, Gretchen, you feel disappointed because you felt that you failed yourself during this year receiving those news that you did not meet the expectation you had for yourself regarding it.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
I appreciate your time and I look forward to reconnecting with you and discussing further this situation. Okay. All right, review time.
Yay.
Okay,
Okay.
go ahead,
Mhm.
Gretchen.
So identify one or two areas of strength. I'm just going to read these out loud and then
Mm-hmm,
I'll
mm-hmm.
What responses helped you feel understood? What responses had a positive impact? And what responses were facilitative? What responses helped me to feel understood? Um, I mean, it was just very impactful to hear your processing of what I shared. I don't know if that's like included in what I should be reflecting on here, but that like I could hear you wanting wanting to and understanding me. Um, and so I think that in within reflection, like you're reflecting, I felt very understood by you. And also there was like a patience that I felt from you, like your tone of voice. Um, there was something about it that felt very present and very like I am here with you in this moment. And there's not a rush. It just felt, you felt very present. And for that, like that made me feel very understood. Um, what responses had a positive impact? Um, your, I could feel your desire to understand me and to catch what I was saying. And I could feel your empathy, and that had a very positive impact. Like I felt very comfortable sharing. It felt very easy to feel my feelings around the situation. And to also like feel like the various layers. Um, what responses were facilitative? Um, I think that I think just like feeling genuinely seen, like you even taking notice of my facial expressions. Um, and when there was a shift. Um, and and kind of again, like just your general presence. Like you just had a very present presence, and that was very facilitative. Mhm.
Thank you.
Identify one or two areas of growth. What were some responses that were not accurate to what you were experiencing? What responses broke connection? What responses were not facilitative? So, what were some responses that were not accurate to what you were experiencing? Um, gosh, I don't even. I think it's hard to. I think like I could say like it wasn't like the like like a complete like hitting the target like the
Mhm.
like right on, but it didn't that didn't really matter because
Mm.
there the it was helpful for me to sift through, like hearing your reflection and then sifting through and then being able to identify
Mm.
a little bit more for myself, like, oh, actually, like this is here too, what I'm feeling. So, I don't think, I mean, that one's hard, feels hard to answer. What responses broke connection? I don't think that there were any that broke connection. I want to give you good feedback in this area because I know it's so helpful. Um, what responsive were not facilitative? There's nothing that I can think of. I just was really impacted by your presence. So like you really felt with me, and it was a short amount of time that I had to share, but I just um if there's something that comes to mind though, I'll tell you so that
Okay,
you
absolutely.
back.
Okay. All right, that's it. Okay, I'm gonna start recording and then we can log off and then
Okay.
5 minutes.